By now, you've heard about Global Poker, one of the fastest growing online card rooms available in the US and Canada today. So what's stopping you from trying it out? Global Poker is a safe and secure social poker site that uses their own patented sweepstakes model. Signing up is easy. You can use Google, Facebook, or just an email address. You can always play for free on Global Poker, but you can also buy gold coins for additional play, which will earn sweeps coins that can be redeemed for real cash to a bank account, Skrill account, or even as a gift card. Get a free 5,000 gold coins when you sign up right now at globalpoker.com.
Poker Stories is an audio series that features casual interviews with some of the game's best players and personalities. Each episode highlights a well-known figure in the poker world and dives deep into their favorite tales, both on and off the feld.
Hello and welcome to Poker Stories, a podcast brought to you by Card Player, the Poker Authority, and hosted by me, Julio Rodriguez. This is episode number 112, and it features one of the rising stars of the poker world, Aria Imsirovic. Now, Aria is only 26 years old, but he has already established himself as one of the top players on the high roller circuit. And even though he didn't start racking up cashes until 2016, he has already managed to win nearly $11 million on the tournament circuit. It started with a win in the 10K Turbo at the 2018 PCA, and another win for $250,000 at Borgata. Later that year, he dominated the Poker Masters, running away with the Purple Jacket and nearly $1.3 million in combined earnings. Since then, he's only further established himself, winning a US Poker Open event, a WSOP circuit ring, and several more high roller titles. When live poker shut down during the pandemic, Aria moved his game online, where he continued to win. In fact, in August, he was playing in a $501,000 game and managed to win a no-limit hold'em record-setting $974,000 pot against Tan Xuan. Of course, when live poker returned to Las Vegas late last year, Aria was one of the first players in line to play. In fact, when we recorded this interview about a week ago, he had already managed to make 5 high roller final tables with 2 wins. Then, just this weekend alone, Aria one-upped himself at Aria by finishing second in the 10K on Thursday, first in the 25K on Friday, and then first again in the 25K on Saturday. What made that feat even crazier was that he was heads up against Sean Perry all 3 times. So congrats to Sean on the great weekend as well. Anyway, that's enough intro. Here is my conversation with Aria Imsirovic. I am here with Aria Imsirovic. Aria, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
Great. Things are looking up as far as live poker returning. Obviously, you've experienced a few wins already in your return, and we'll get to that soon. But on this show, we like to go back to the beginning and find out the origin story. So let's take you back to I guess Bosnia, right? That's where you were born, right?
Yeah, that's where I was born.
So what do you remember? How long were you there, and what do you remember of your time there?
Not much. I moved to the States when I was 3 years old. There was a massive war going on in Bosnia, or I guess most of Yugoslavia in general. We basically just fled and basically just like kind of refuged over and moved here when I was 3 and don't remember much from Bosnia. And then I remember when we first got here, we were like staying on like some people's couches that my dad met, that my dad has only seen like once or twice in his life. So it was like a very weird situation. You
had to start over, right? Like he basically gave up everything.
Yeah, my dad was like very successful over here. He had his own business and stuff, and like we just like he was building his own houses. Like he was doing great in Bosnia. They just lost everything and had to start over here.
And what was he doing, for work when you were growing up? This was in Washington?
Yeah, in Vancouver, Washington. He basically just did whatever he could. His main job was like a parking lot attendant, and then he was like cleaning bars on some other. He had like 3 jobs at once at one point. It was insane.
So I assume that work ethic translated to you?
I hope so. Like, it's definitely like inspiring to like see how hard he worked for his family and just like get us whatever we really need. Like, growing up, we actually went like on a lot of vacations and stuff too, and I just have no clue how we did it. We had no money. We were living in like a very small apartment, and yeah, but my parents just like always made us feel like we can have whatever we want, and as long as we're reasonable.
Yeah. So what was little Ollie getting into back then? What were your interests and what did you want to do?
Basketball was all I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I still love the game, but growing up, I would just play nonstop. That was all I wanted to do with my time. Like, I would just every day just call up my friends. We had like this basketball court like right across from where I lived, so it was an outdoor court, but still, I was just there every day playing, and yeah, basically just spent all my time doing that. And
How serious about it were you? Like, did you have a shot, you think?
yeah, like I want to say like around eighth, ninth grade, I was talking to some possible like agencies to like possibly get like help me with getting scouted to like play college ball and stuff like that. And then I started having a lot of ankle issues, and then I think it was around like I guess I'll go back a little bit. Like right after freshman year, it was like summer league ball, and I was already like a lock to be on the varsity team, and like things were going great. And then 2 weeks before tryouts, I tear a few ligaments in my ankle, and I couldn't even like go to tryouts. Like I was still kind of with the team a bit, but I couldn't really like play. I couldn't do anything. So at that point is kind of when I found poker. I was like somewhat. I don't want to say depressed because I'm like 16, so like I don't really think I was like depressed, but I was like, it was
Teenage
like
depressed.
yeah, exactly. Like it was all I wanted to do, and now I couldn't like really even play. I needed to find something else to like fuel my competitive drive. And my dad would play with his friends a decent amount, just like for like pennies. But ended up asking him to let me play, and he just said no. He was like very opposed to me doing anything gambling related, as he probably should. So like I don't blame him for that. But typically when
Well,
you're 16.
real quick, let's set the timeline here because you're saying you're 16. This is 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Exactly. So this is, Black Friday's about to happen.
Yeah, literally, right for Black Friday when I got into poker, basically.
Yeah, it's an interesting time to find poker, especially for somebody who's living in the United States and doesn't really have access to the online games that we used to back in the moneymaker days.
Oh, I had some great games. Don't you worry. I'll let you know about that too.
Perfect. Okay, so your dad says no poker. What's the
Yeah.
next
So
step?
at this point, so I had already passed these tests to basically be able to skip my junior and senior year of high school and go straight to college. So like,
Really?
yeah. So I was already kind of just like over high school at that point too. So I started just skipping a lot of my classes. I probably skipped like a third or a quarter of my classes my sophomore year of high school. And
Okay, real quick here. Let's brag about your brain a little bit. You skipped two grades, and they're the last two grades, so that's pretty impressive, right? Are you a bit of a Doogie Howser, or?
I don't know. I think school just felt like came very easy to me, and I like the idea of like just like having more of like a college life to where I set my own schedule, my own like whatever like how I wanted to do it. And high school didn't really allow that, so I found this to be a better option.
Yeah, well, So you go to college early, or do you take some time off, or?
No, yeah, I went to college when I was 16.
Okay, so that's an experience. I mean, I felt young being a month removed away from my 18th birthday. I can't even imagine what it's like to be a freshman and 16. And this is at Washington State?
Well, first I went to community college for 2 years to get my associates, and then after those 2 years, I transferred to Washington State.
And what was your experience like?
It was great, honestly. Like, I went to school 3 days a week. Basically, I just like would get to school at like 10 a.m. and like take 3 classes every day, about 2 hours each, and then I would be done, and I could do whatever I want my time. It was fantastic. It was exactly what I wanted.
And did poker fit into that at all, or?
Yeah, it was perfect for poker. Like, I was already kind of into poker at this point, so I have to like retrack a little bit. But basically, when I started skipping classes, I would go to like Barnes and Noble's bookstores and stuff and just read poker books. So like that's kind of how I spent my time skipping. Just like trying to get better at poker, and then
What were
but I
some of
had
the
to.
first books that you
Huh?
that you started reading?
Well, Gus Hansen's book, Every Hand Revealed,
Oh yeah.
Negreanu's Small Ball books, Super System, by the like all of the old school books.
Yeah.
And
You caught up
then
quickly.
what ended up happening is there was always this free roll, an ultimate bet at like 3:15 p.m. or something, and I'll get off school at 2:50. But my parents didn't know I was skipping, so I'd have to like time it to like basically get home by like 3:10, so I can play this free roll on ultimate bet. uh, but yeah, that's basically how I got started in poker, and then what ended up happening when I was around 18, there's this place called Final Table Poker Club in Portland, which was like 5 minutes south of Vancouver. It was super easy to get there, and it was 18 plus because there was no alcohol, and you basically just pay a door fee and you can play. There's like probably 3 or 4 tournaments on a day, like per day there. You know, like very small. It's like 20, 30 person fields, and I started just. Playing poker there. My dad gave me $60 to fix my guitar, and then I went there and played a $60 tournament, and I won it for more than first place.
Wait, for more than first place?
Yeah, we were four-handed, and I had like 90% of chips in play, and they wanted to chop, and I asked for like $100 more for first place if they wanted to chop.
That's quite a first win right there when you're getting more than the advertised price.
I was on cloud nine. I was so happy.
It's not the only time you've had 90% of the chips in play with a bunch of people left. I just saw a picture on your Twitter not too long ago. You had a Aria high roller doing pretty much the same thing.
I had like probably 80% of chips in play, and lay reg was still open. It was actually insane.
That's a run. Okay, we'll get to the accomplishments, but right now we're still using Dad's guitar money.
Yeah. So
did you take that guitar home and?
Well, no, I needed to fix like the strings on my guitar, and so yeah, I ended up using $60 to play this tournament. It was exact $60 buy-in, so it was like perfect. And then actually, kind of a funny story to how I got there. That was my first time there, and the way I got there, it was actually on Valentine's Day, and I was supposed to go on some day with some girl from Portland, and I was headed to her place, and we were arguing about something, and I was like, "Fuck this! I don't want to go to this day anymore." And right next to her place was this Final Table Poker Club. I had heard about the place before, but I never played. And I was like, "All right, let's go." And then so I just showed up and lay reg a $60 tournament, and it worked out.
Wow, that girl launched your poker career.
Literally, yeah. I should thank her. I haven't talked to her in a long time, but I probably. That's true.
I wouldn't contact her. She might ask for a cut. I made you. I get a cut of all your future earnings.
You might deserve a little piece. I don't know.
It's crazy. You know, the butterfly effect of a canceled date could lead to millions and millions of dollars. So okay. Did you finish school?
I am a semester away from my bachelor's degree.
Perpetually, or are you working towards it?
No. Like years ago, I stopped. Yeah, I had a semester left, and I was like, "Why am I doing this?" I was majoring in criminal justice and minoring in psychology, and like, I was just like, I'm not gonna pay like a couple thousand more for like a semester of something I'm never gonna use. And then like, I remember I was like playing online. And my dad was like, "Oh, have you set up your schedule for next semester?" And I was like, "I'm not going." And I just went back and played. He just sat there shocked, like for like 10 minutes. I was so funny.
I mean, I don't want to throw the term pot committed around, but when you only got a semester left, you didn't feel that way?
It was kind of just like it felt like a waste of just like my time and money because I'm like the bachelor's degree for criminal justice, I'm literally never going to use it. And what's the point of getting it if I'm never really going to use it? It's just like for like the diploma, basically. It's to like have your degree, but like I don't care about that. It's kind of just like doesn't actually mean anything to me.
Yeah. And you still got most of the education anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm set. I don't need a diploma.
All right. So, what was the first thing you remember about turning pro?
Um, Actually, before I get, let me go back to I guess this kind of relates to it. So what happened was I was playing at that place, Fountain Hill Poker Club, for a while. I would just go there like constantly, and I had probably built up like a. So I won that tournament for $1,500, and I probably built up like a 4 or 5K roll in a month. Playing there, just like playing some like 1-2 and like playing like 20, 40, $60 tournaments basically. And what ended up happening is I actually got robbed, and I didn't have a bank account yet. So basically, all the money that I had was taken
Wow.
at that time. So I actually stopped playing poker for a few months after that. So this was like I want to say March or April, and I ended up having like a graduation party in like June or July, and people like gave me some money and stuff during the party, and I was like, all right, let's try this again. And then I went back and kind of restarted the poker grind right after that. But yeah, I was like very like sad about the money I lost. So I just like didn't play poker for multiple months after that.
That was your own Black Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
The rest of the poker world got robbed in a different way.
Man, yeah, that was rough.
So your first live cash here is November 2015 in the Caribbean Poker Tour in Punta Cana.
Anna, yeah. Oh my God, that was so much fun. I ended up winning a $55 satellite on America's Card Room. It's like a package. It's like a $1,600 tournament, your hotel, and then you can bring one other person or something like that. And yeah, I played that tournament. I was so nervous. I never played anything like even remotely that big, and I was.
I mean, that's got to be your first poker trip too, right?
Um,
At least internationally.
Yeah, I think because I think I went to what is it called? The thing in Texas. What's that? Not Texas, Oklahoma. Sorry, Choctaw. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Choctaw, yeah.
Because it was 18. It's 18 plus. So I went and played like a few like $300 satellites. I tried to play against like WPT Maine and like something else, and I think I had like a 15K roll, and I lost like 7K. At that time. So I ended up that was my first trip, and that was miserable. I was by myself in middle of Oklahoma. I don't know anybody, and I'm just losing money every day. It was the most miserable trip of my life.
Did you have a point where you went, what am I doing? I can't be a professional poker player. This was a pipe dream. Let me go look at those real jobs again.
No, because I remember like playing terms of Choctaw. I was just like everybody's playing so bad. So like I felt very confident in my game. I just wasn't winning. So but like obviously like the way your mind tricks you, and it's just like, are you really that good? Whatever. But I think it was good for me because it like made me just like really want to just study even more. So like whenever I have like these like big downswings, that usually happens to where I'm just like very concentrated on like improving my game, so that doesn't happen again.
So the first time I became aware of you, I guess, was December of 2017. You finished fourth in our Card Player Poker Tour main event at the Venetian. Um, and I remember looking up, you had, I think you had finished fourth at a circuit event before that, and then all of a sudden you went on to win an event at the PCA. Can you talk about that? And that seemed to be kind of what kickstarted your live career, right?
Yeah. That summer before that happened, so a few months prior, I was playing the World Series, and I want to say I had like I don't know, like an 80K roll, and I probably lost 60K of it. and so like I was back to just like playing like 1-2 cash online and stuff. And I got a message from a friend about like kind of an opportunity to where I can play on this app called Poker Masters. It's like this like Chinese app. It was like really good action, and I was gonna get back for like 10-20 and stuff under it. And I was like, oh yeah, let's do it. So I ended up me and a few of my friends we went to Vegas and just like all got back for it. And we were just playing these games and just having like a good time. And things were going really well. And then we started playing a few live tournaments at that time too, and I got fourth in 3 in a row. I got fourth in like playing a Hollywood circuit event, and then I played my first like 10K high roller at Bellagio, and I got fourth. And then right after I played this card player 3500, and I got fourth in that one as well. So that's kind of what like started like me having some sort of like real role to like start playing bigger stakes.
Now, does that mean you're putting up the 10K at the PCA all by yourself, or are you being more careful at this point?
I assume I sold like 15%. I had a few friends that I studied with, so I think I just gave them each like 5%.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I mean, I kind of always was like okay with going broke because I had like friends that were always willing to like back me if I needed it. So and like I had no responsibilities really, so like I was okay with just like trying to like run it up or go broke and start over, you know. So I had no issue with that. But it's funny in PCA, I'm playing these tournaments and it's going pretty poorly overall. And I played my first 25K there. I think I sold like 70% of that one. So I sold a lot of that one. But yeah, I was getting buried in PCA. I think I was down, yeah, probably like a third of my roll or something. And then. The last day, my friend and I go to this little, it's a restaurant, and we're having like ice cream sundaes in the morning. And we're just like, all right, you know, it's still a fun trip, whatever, no big deal. And I remember at a table next to me, Bryn Kenney sits down with like a few guys I've never seen before who were like definitely just like recreational poker players, or I don't know if they even played poker before. And he's kind of just telling them about this, like 10K turbo that's going today. He's like, oh, you guys should play. And I just looked at my friend, I was like, I guess we're firing. and then I just I redged like 25 big blinds and a 10K turbo, and yeah, it was kind of just like it was like a dream the way it went. I just like didn't lose a hand and like just ended up getting heads up with Ryan Reese, and I remember this hand where I like check shoved the river with like he like put like half his stack in already. I like check shoved as a bluff and he folded. And it was just like a storybook. Like everything went perfectly, and I ended up winning it.
That puts 160 grand in your pocket. Then a couple months later in April, you win the Borgata Spring Poker Open for about $250,000, and you come back to Vegas. And I think I do an interview with you at the Aria, where we talked about what was it? It was
I know exactly what it was. It was when I was a donk article thing.
That's right.
And my parents still have that frame still. So like in their house, whenever I go in, I still see it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's right. You were talking about a mistake you made in a tournament, an ICM error or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it was something the opposite, where you should have made the play and you didn't. Either way, I interviewed you there, and I was like, oh, this kid's young guy, doing well. He's got a couple wins under his belt, but I was still like, what's he doing? Registering for all these 25Ks at Aria. And
I honestly had no business playing those at the time. If I'm being like completely like I think it was the first U.S. Poker Open. I think that's what I showed up for. I'm not exactly sure, but it was right after PCA. I like showed up and played like USPO, and I played. I had sold to play everything, and then I ended up playing like 2 10Ks and 1 25K. And I remember I had Justin Bonamo on the left, and like he was just destroying me, and I was like, I don't belong here. And then I just like didn't play the rest of the tournaments, and went back to like studying and trying to get better.
It seems to be a common theme so far that you're willing to at least fire at once and see where you stand. You know what I mean? Not afraid to do that. How do you get into these 25Ks other than just selling pieces? Or do you have like a dedicated backer at this point?
No, yeah. At this point, I was just firing everything for like 5K and under by myself, and then for the bigger stuff, I would sell. I had a friend. Actually, I'm like really good friends with him now. But it was right for PCA. I went straight to Florida for Lucky Hearts Poker Open, and I sit down this 2K, and I have my friend to my left, and I'm talking to him, and I was like, oh yeah, I hear the 25K is gonna be really good. I don't know, like I'm gonna try to sell for it, see if I can get in. And this guy to my right just looks at me. He goes, "You're playing 25K?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Can I buy?" And I was like, "What?" And he ended up just becoming one of my good friends, and like he just like loves poker and like knew who I was. And yeah, he was like a big part of like why I got to play some big stuff, because he would take like 30-40% of like 25K is like no problem. That's kind of how I started
Does this
playing.
guy play, or is he just a professional poker talent scout?
Oh, I guess I can say his name. He plays. He does like a decent amount of sports. Dylan Gang. He played in Rob's home game. On Poker Go, where it was like 1K, 2K. But yeah, I basically just by luck met him in like a random 2K in Florida, and we became really good friends after that.
And obviously, you've made him a good deal of money.
Oh yeah, he's very grateful. He like always tries to like send me something. Like, I don't need anything, man. Like we're friends. I don't need you to like sending me like wine and stuff constantly.
So, what was the biggest difference you saw in the high roller fields versus random 5K or lower? Like, what was the biggest adjustment you had to make?
It was a lot of guys that were just much more studied than like 5Ks. Like for example, in 5Ks, there's a lot of like field player types. I guess is the best way to describe it. Guys that just like kind of know what's going on and are like doing well versus the field, but like that haven't put in the time or like just the effort into like figuring out why you do X or Y. While when I'm like playing with like an iPad, I can just see like the wheels turning in his head. And he's just like, okay, this is the play. We'll just do that. Like regardless of like any emotions he's feeling, whatever. He just like has studied the spot. He knows what to do, and like he'll just like do something in a hand. I'm just like, I have no clue what's going on because I don't see this in like random 2Ks or like 1Ks live. And then I'll just like try to look at a spot and figure it out, and I'll be like, wow, okay, so he was right, and I played the spot completely wrong for the longest time now. So yeah, I mean these guys are just way more studied. So I ended up coming in with a different game plan playing these guys. I started playing like a kind of a unique strategy to where I was playing very suboptimal, but doing things that they were not used to kind of just like force them to like be in, to try to adjust to my game instead of trying to like play their regular game. I like started like I was playing a limp only strategy in early position, and like when I first started playing higher rollers, people were like, "What is going on? What is this guy doing?" And yeah, it ended up working out early on until they kind of caught on, and then I had to study and get better and like play like a real strategy.
Right, because essentially what people are doing when they study these solvers are they're taking common situations and trying to figure out what the best play is. But if you present to them a situation that is so uncommon they haven't studied for it, you have an opportunity there.
Exactly, yeah, and that was and like there's been a lot of talk about poker, just like natural talent stuff, and like I think I kind of fall into the category of where to start I just played a lot of poker. I didn't study like as much as I probably should have, but it just like came like very natural to me to like how to adjust and like what people were doing. So I think it like when a new strategy is like put on the table, I'm gonna figure it out better than most without studying. So that was kind of just like my whole like, game plan.
And what is it today? Are you much more into the numbers?
Yeah, it's a mix of both. Like, I think a lot of the top guys, like even if you're very studied, like you're constantly deviating in spots just because of what people actually play. But nowadays I really enjoy the studying part of poker. Just like trying to figure out why you do X or Y and how to different runouts and look. Just like everything, just like related to like improving at poker, I really enjoy doing. So nowadays I try to like have a good foundation, then deviate depending on what's going on.
Let's talk about the Poker Masters in 2018. You won a couple of events there for combined 1.3 million. You win the Poker Masters title and the purple jacket. And then you basically say, "Hello, world. I'm here to wreck high rollers now." What was that reaction to you like? I mean, it's got to be life changing, right?
That was the best like 2 weeks of my life, like for sure. I had just I was in Barcelona before that playing a few tournaments, and I wasn't gonna play Poker Masters because the buy-ins were just too big for me. And once again, just by like sheer luck, I met a guy at the table, and we were talking poker or whatever, and I was like talking to Poker Masters, and he wanted to buy like fairly large pieces. And I was like, oh, okay, that's great. Yeah, let's do it. And I showed up at Poker Masters, and I remember I cashed the first 10K there, and then I bricked a few tournaments. and then there was a 25K. I think it was 11 paid or something, and I was like, maybe it was like 14 paid, but it was something around there, and we were like 2 or 3 off the money, and I was like 10th in chips or 9th in chips, something like that, where like I was definitely like, it was definitely possible for me to bubble, and I remember being the most nervous I've ever been in my life playing poker. I was like, I felt like I was sweating, like it was insane, and then I cashed, and there was a bunch of relief, and then I kind of just like after that just felt very comfortable like playing because then it was just like back to regular poker. Like yeah, it's a lot of money, but you know I had sold off, and like the guys that I sold off to expect me to like play my best. So then I kind of just like relaxed and like just went back, just trying to play poker, and I think I bagged second in chips or something with 6 left, and then for the final table, it just went so smoothly. It was I I think I like lost like 2 hands maybe, and I like race folded ace queen once when Kuhn had ace king. I was like yes, and then I like folded like second pair in a spot where you're always supposed to call against like Ras, and I was just like I think he has it. I folded. I was right, and like everything else just went like perfectly. It was like a dream. And then
So,
go ahead.
well, I was just going to ask, 1.3 million is a lot of money. Obviously, even if you're selling pieces, do you do any big splurging at that point?
Splurging. What did I do? Um, I
We
don't
ever?
think so, honestly. I never really cared much for like objects or like anything. Like now I have like now I have like some nice stuff. I have like a pretty nice car. I have like a watch that's like $4,500. So I have like some like I've done some splurging since, but like overall it's not like it's never been like yeah let's just go and spend like 20, 30K on whatever Um, but yeah, after that 25K, the 50K was the same day as day 2 of the 25K. So I win the 25K, I go and get some coffee, and then I go and reg the 50K. And then the 50K, kind of the same story. Like all day, I was like just short. And then we were getting close to the money, and I just somehow just won every hand. And for the final table, I bet I had like 60% of the chips in play with 6 left or something. And yeah, it was kind of just like a dream as well, all the way up until heads up. And I ended up getting heads up with Karai Aldemir, and he just destroyed me heads up. It was like he played way better than I did, and like it was looking. I came with like I want to say 3-1 chip lead, and it got flipped around to him. I mean 3-1, and at this point I was kind of like, all right, like he's playing better than me. I'm probably gonna lose. It's okay. Like this has been an incredible experience. And then I just ran good and won it, and that basically just almost sealed up the jacket for me.
And at this point, are you riding high in confidence? Like, I belong here. These people, I'm one of these guys, or even amongst the best of these guys, or does that come with time?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard not to be overconfident at that point when you just win like back-to-back high rollers and like tough fields. So at this point, I was just like, oh yeah, I belong here. These guys know who I am now, whatever. And then uh, after like a while of just playing regularly like 25Ks and 10Ks, I kind of was just like, okay, like I belong here, but I'm not one of the best players yet. So once you play more, you kind of realize how good a certain player is. It's hard to know with live because you get so few hands in. But when you're constantly playing with these guys, you kind of just like figure out who knows what's going on better than others. And I would still see spots where I'm just like, yeah, I don't know how this spot looks. I don't know how this spot looks. I mean, even nowadays, like that's still happening. Like, there's still so much to learn in poker. But yeah, at that point, like after a few months of like playing a few like Aria like 10 and 25Ks, I kind of realized I was probably like a middle of the pack player in these fields and winning small. And then yeah, it just motivated me to keep working harder and harder.
You mentioned how nervous you were at the Poker Masters. Do you still ever get that feeling when in these high rollers? I mean, maybe the 300K buy-in.
Yeah, so Baha Mar, like I think it was 2018. It was a 250K, and that was and I somehow just played it. I don't know. I think I took like a big piece of myself, like half the action or something crazy, and ended up being one of I want to say one of 9 with 4 paid, and I got ninth.
Oh man!
And that I was like, it was day two. I was feeling myself. It was going great, and then I played this hand versus Petrangelo where I like I played the hand well, so I'm not even like mad about the hand. It was just like a big hand that I lost for like all my chips basically, and I ended up walking off and like I got like shaky leg. Like I was just like so sad about busting this tournament, and that was probably like the most like sad slash whatever you want to call it that I've been in poker. But besides that, I would say nowadays I feel very comfortable playing the higher stakes tournaments. I still like get emotional about things. Don't get me wrong. I would say I'm one of the more emotional high stakes poker players, and there's definitely some good and some bad there. I don't. I'm happy to be this way just because I don't want to be able to like kind of just have my emotions die out while playing because that I think in like things outside of poker it translates and like yeah
Yes.
I'm affected a bit more by the swings in poker, but I think overall life wise I feel I don't want to say happier because that might not be true because I don't know how other people feel, but I feel very happy with my day-to-day life overall and like experiencing like different emotions constantly with just whatever you're doing. Like I'm very happy that I still have that.
Yeah, I remember Justin Bonamo coming on this podcast and talking about how he had an issue when he was learning to become more robotic at the table, essentially, in his decision making. It was affecting his personal life, and he had to remind himself, you don't have to be a poker player when you're away from the table.
Yeah, it's just hard to do that though. Like if you're trying to be super robotic at the table, because poker is so much of your life that it just translates. It has to, I think. I mean, there's definitely times where I've tried to do that too, and I just don't like it. So I would say I'm definitely one of the more reactive slash emotional poker players, but I'm still trying to play what I think is the right decision. And yeah, there are definitely times where I'll make an emotional play that I shouldn't, but I'm okay with it.
I've heard another interview saying that you one of the things you valued the most about your game was your mental strength, and I'm assuming it comes from the ability to pull the trigger when you need to, despite the circumstances.
Exactly. Yeah, I felt like whenever I played like bigger, I've always been able to just like play really good late in the game. So I remember it was my first 300K was in December of 2018. I played the Super High Roller Bowl. It was I at Aria, and I ended up having this hand versus Bryn Kenney. I want to say that we were like 11 or 12 left or something. I think they paid 6 or 7. I can't remember exactly, but there was this hand where like he just tripled it off in a spot, and I had a hand that's like not a good call. But like I was just like, I don't think this guy has it, and I know this call's worth a lot of money. And if I'm wrong, it's really bad, but I'm just gonna do it because I don't think he has it. And I made the call, and he didn't have it, and I was just like, all right, like I'm still able to like deviate and make like good decisions. What I think is a good decision, even at the highest stakes. So I would say when the stakes get fairly big, I'm able to just kind of I'm still affected by the money. Don't get me wrong, but I'm still kind of just able to like fight through and like try to play the best I can.
Where do you rank yourself currently in the high roller world, and
Um,
what do you think your ceiling is?
It's like a hard question to answer because there are just so many aspects of like tournament poker to where like yeah, like I could be the best in a certain type of like say there's like live deep stack tournaments, live turbo tournaments if there's like smaller field, bigger field tournaments like it's hard to like say exactly like where anybody is, but I'd be hard pressed to like not have myself in the top 10 in like just like tournament poker in general. And the goal is still always to be the best. That's like what drives me to like get better and study poker constantly. So I don't think I'm the best yet. But yeah, as long as I'm improving, and even if I never reached to be the best, but as long as I'm improving, getting better than I was, last week or last month or whatever, I'm gonna be happy.
Well, top 10 is pretty damn good. I mean, as long as you play decent-sized tournaments, you still got a plus EV situation there. Who is the best, if not you? Unless you don't want to blow them up too much.
No, I don't want to talk about it. It's just it's so hard to know because just like I said, like the question is so hard to answer because there's so many different aspects in tournament poker. But there's guys like easy answers. Like there's guys like Ike, Tim Adams, Nick Petrangelo's really good. Jake Schindler's really good. There's a few guys that I'm really close with, so I'm really biased, but I think they're also in the top guys like Brock Wilson or Rocco Stisha, like guys like that. Just it's hard to know who's the best. Chidwick's obviously another really good option to say is the best, but like it's so hard to know, especially if you're not like constantly talking with these guys and like aware of how sharp they really are, But I would assume it's one of those guys.
Do you talk strategy with a lot of these opponents that you play with, or is it hush hush, keep it to yourself?
No, I think we're very open overall because, like, if you're like a good player in the high roller circuit, you kind of just like know how spots look generally speaking. So it's like the only way to like talk poker with anybody where you can improve is with these guys. And like even if you're like giving away some stuff about how you think about the spots, it doesn't matter that much because they're looking at like solver stuff constantly. They already know roughly what's possible, and if they don't, they're gonna figure it out. So I think it's like usually very open about how we think of spots because everybody's trying to play theoretically correct. So even if there's like, oh, I know he does this, it's like, okay, he does this, but it's correct. So it's like it's not like you can really attack him for it.
In 2019, you made a few WSOP final tables. You finished second and fourth and a couple. Almost got that bracelet. Is that something that matters to you, or given the high roller prize pools, is it not on your radar?
I remember that it was the first tournament of the World Series, a 10K knockout tournament. I got heads up with Brian Green, and we're like one big blind apart. We get it in Kings versus Ace 9, and I got River for the bracelet, and I wasn't that mad about it. I thought I was gonna be like furious, but I really wasn't that mad about it. I would like to win a bracelet. I think it's just like kind of a cool thing to have in your career. The tournaments are really fun. The prize pools are big enough. I don't know, just like the atmosphere of the World Series is like incredible. I don't know, I just love the World Series in general. So yeah, I would definitely really love to win a bracelet, but I don't think it's something that I'm just like, oh, if I don't win a bracelet, I'm gonna be like depressed or feel like a failure or whatever. Because once again, it's still they're bigger field tournaments. There's a lot of luck going on. But yeah, my goal, I definitely want to win a bracelet. And if there's a World Series this year, I'll definitely just be playing everything.
I was laughing because looking at Bryn Kenney's top scores, and one of his bracelet wins, a bracelet win, was like barely top 50 in his all-time cashes. And I'm like, that's what high rollers are like. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they can't slum it for a $500 buy-in tournament. What about you? I mean, do you still love it enough that you can put up a $500 buy-in tournament every once in a while, or?
Yeah. The other day, I was in a hot tub and I got my phone and opened WSP.com and there was like I think it was like a 320 or something, like WSP circuit event. And I just like registered and started playing on my phone. Yeah, I don't know. I just love poker so much. Like it's still like the biggest part of my life is just playing poker and just thinking about poker. So like, actually, one other crazy thing is the other day I was with my friend and it was like 6 p.m. and the Venetian had some 365 tournament that leveraged into like 620, and we were like, all right, let's go play. Then we just like went to Venetian, just like read a 365 just cause like we want to play some poker. So yeah, I definitely like. I mean, I don't take it as seriously. Like it's hard to like just like a $300 tournament, just like try to play like your A game, but I still really enjoy playing poker. Just meeting people when you're playing live. I don't know. I just really enjoy a lot of things about it.
Before we get to the return of live poker, let's talk about a little bit what you did over the lockdown, which was set a record for the biggest no-limit hold'em cash game pot in online poker history. Just shy of $1 million. I mean, wow.
Oh man, dude.
Did you expect to be playing such big cash at that point?
No. I I was like just mostly playing tournaments, most of quarantine, and I ended up like these cash games just showed up on GG, and I was like, at first it was 501k, and I was like, all right, I can afford this for now, so and like the games were good, so I just played, and then they made it 501k 2k for most of it, so I started selling like half of it, and but it was still like the stakes were so massive and like stressful. Like it was very stressful. But like the hourly and the amount of money you could win in that game was insane. So I didn't expect to be playing that big, but I'm very glad I did. I went on like I don't know. I mean, I didn't win that much. I probably won like 2 to 2.5 million total. But like for those stakes, that's like 10, 12 buy-ins. You know, it's like it's not really like it's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but like it's not. It's not like I just like crushed the game for 30
Right.
buys, you know.
It's an impressive number, but
Yeah,
also realistic given given the stakes. Still, let's talk about this hand because it was pretty insane hand, right? You're playing Tan Xuan.
I gotta set the scene first. So the hand before Limitless and Chris Brewer played this hand where Limitless like called a 4-bet or something with 7-2-0 or 7-2. So I'm not sure if it was offsuit or suit. I don't remember. He like 3-bet called a 4-bet with 7-2, and it came like Ace 3-9, and he calls a flop bet. Turns a 4. He Brewer checks. Limitless bets. Call. There's a 5. Check. All in. Call. And he went to the straight with 7-2. And then I just typed in the chat. We're playing some poker now, boys. And then literally stone next hand. I think the fact that hand happened and the fact that I said that, I think it made Tan just want to do something crazy. Like so.
Yeah. Speaking of runner.
Yeah, true. He opens. Can't remember if it's a cutoff or the hijack. I 3-bet the small blind with Ace King of Spades. He calls. It comes 9-5-5.
Right.
Rainbow. I bet like a third pot. He raises. I call. I mean, it's just like a pretty standard continue on the flop, a backdoor flush draw, 2 overs, and ace high. And then turn.
Hold on. Pretty standard continuation bet, maybe, but he did raise you.
Well, pretty standard continue versus the raise too.
Okay.
Suit, like that's a big fucking hand, man.
I'm just saying, like you bet 15,000 into this pot with ace high and backdoor spades. He raises to 54K, and it's a standard call.
You can't think of it like that, but yeah, you know, it's a lot of money, but you know, for the stakes, it was still semi-normal.
Yeah. I'm just informing our listeners about what standard poker is.
It seemed like you had better. What was the turn?
So yeah, the turn is the jack of spades. So you still got the 2 overs and the spades.
And I check. I think he got like 101, 102K.
Yeah.
And with enough flush draw now. And honestly, I thought he had air. Like just the way things were going, I thought he just didn't have anything. So I felt honestly, if they were just bricked, there was some chance I call it off with ace high and lose to his bluff with a 9. So like honestly, if the river break, like I might have lost $1 million pot with ace high.
8 of spades on the river, so you make the nut flush. The board is still paired, obviously.
Yeah, so 9-5-5 jack eight.
Yeah, he shoves for 310,000, and I'm guessing you couldn't call fast enough.
Oh my god! Like when that river came, I was like, no fucking way. Like I called, and the pot went to me, and I literally just screamed at the top of my lungs. I was so happy.
Yeah, what's it like winning $1 million pot? Do you just quit right away, or like is there etiquette to it?
So Tan left, but because I think he got felted, but we played for like another hour and a half or so. Yeah, I think I won like another like 70, 80K, and then we quit. But yeah, it's like obviously just like not great etiquette to just leave after a big putt. And I didn't really want to leave. Like I was feeling great about the way I was playing, and I thought I had like a reasonable edge still in the game, even with Tan leaving. So I wanted to keep playing, but I was playing with like a smile on my face the whole time. I was so happy. It was absurd. I like, and then after I went out with some friends and had some drinks and was just like literally just couldn't be happier.
Did you know it was the record?
I knew the next day.
For no limit hold'em, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't know at the time, but I knew it was the next day. I heard.
Yeah, I was laughing. I saw on your social media that your friend bought you a blanket of it.
Oh yeah, I still have it. It's in my living room right now. It's so awesome.
So this is like a giant blanket, basically with the online poker table printed on it.
Yeah, it's like the table and like the hand history on it as well.
That's crazy. That's better than a trophy.
Honestly, like it might have been the best gift I ever got.
You can't wear a trophy. I guess you can wear a bracelet, but that counts. All right, we got some rapid fire questions here to close it out if you're ready.
All right, go for it.
Real quick, let's talk about live poker because it seemed like you were itching to get back after, lockdown, and then all of a sudden, you've made what is it, 6 final tables since live poker's come back, including 2 high roller wins at Aria. How are you liking the new situation, the plexiglass, the masks? Is it affecting you at all?
Yeah, it's not as great. It's hard to like talk to people over the plexiglass because it's so thick, and then just like the masks, like obviously it like takes away some of the live aspect of it, which I don't like. But honestly, like I'll take whatever I can get. I love live poker so much, and I'm just so happy to be playing it again. And honestly, now so there's like 4 Aria high rollers coming up in a few days, and then there's like Florida coming up in April. Yeah, it seems like live poker is really coming back strong right now, so I'm so excited to play.
Here we go. Rapid fire questions. Biggest pot you ever won or lost? We already talked about that. What about the best swap or piece you've ever had of anybody?
I had a piece of Bryn Kenney when he had like that $15 million score.
Oh, just the biggest score in poker history?
Yeah.
Yeah, no big deal. Just the biggest piece of, of tournament history of all time. Oh, that's crazy. Who's the best player we've never heard of?
Rock Costisa probably.
I've heard of him.
Okay, well, a lot of people still don't know because
No, I only because I
plays
confused
online,
the
but
two.
I think he's going to be coming to the States in a few months and just playing all the live stuff, so people will know him soon.
I remember writing his name down a few times when it was
Oh
actually
my
you.
God. That was incredible, man.
Yeah, I got you and your buddy confused that first tournament we were seeing you at. All right, what was your worst job before poker?
Never had a job.
Never
Never.
collected a paycheck in your life.
Never.
Never flipped burgers or.
No, and even when I was like 15, I said I was never gonna work for anybody.
That's got somebody might have to hire you just to break the streak.
I know.
What was your largest non-poker wager?
I think I bet. I think it was on Khabib fight versus McGregor. I think I bet like I don't know, like 150K or something.
And did it turn out good?
Oh yeah.
Headphones on at the table, yes or no?
Usually no.
But if you are, what are you listening to?
Recently, I would say J. Cole Forest Hills Drive is my go-to album.
Okay. Just on repeat?
Yeah, I mean, it's so many good songs in there.
Do you have a favorite album overall?
Maybe the Recovery album by Eminem.
Okay. Favorite movie?
I think it's Good Will Hunting.
Oh, it's not your fault. Do you have a celebrity doppelganger, or growing up, did people say you look like somebody?
No, I don't think so.
All right, everyone out there, look up Ollie, and then tweet at him who he looks like. We'll find somebody. What are you interested in that most people aren't? Like, do you have any unique or odd hobbies?
I I want to say it's that most people aren't, but like I got into chess for a while now, and then also like growing up, I like just like card games in general, like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff. I was really into that. Oh, actually, no, I got it. Anime. I love anime, but I guess a lot of people love anime too. So I don't know, but somewhat unique, I guess.
Yeah, it's not super mainstream.
Yeah.
That counts. That counts. Um, are you superstitious at all?
No.
Like 0%. You don't
Uh,
have a lucky T-shirt.
uh, I, I guess that's not true. There's when I put my first like Aria 10K, I chopped it, or I got second, and I busted her first bullet, and when I went back to the cashier, there was like these rubber bands like next to it. They used to use it for like put the cash in or whatever, I guess. And I grabbed one of those rubber bands and just put it on my wrist, and then I chopped the tournament, and then I've done that 3 times now, and I've always gotten heads up.
Why
It's really weird.
Why aren't you wearing the rubber band every tournament?
You can't waste it, man.
I don't want to be too greedy. What's the most entertaining thing you've watched, read, or listened to since the lockdown?
I spent a lot of time watching Joe Rogan podcast. The one with Naval Ravikant is probably my favorite.
Oh, you watch the video version or just listen to the podcast?
Video version, yeah.
Yeah, we can't do that on this show. People don't want to see me.
Yeah, I was gonna ask why it's only audio, but
no, it's not because of you. It's because of me. I have a face for radio. Do you like telling people you're a professional poker player?
No.
No, you just don't want to deal with the explanation.
Yeah, it's kind of just like the looks you generally get. So you're like, oh, that's cool, but there's nowhere to go from it really, because there's like they ask like questions. I'm just like, or they give you kind of like a weird look where it's like, oh, so you gamble. It's like, oh, it's like, all right, bitch, like
you like Google me.
Yeah.
Which poker player did you look to coming up? Did you look up to coming up?
Tom Dwan, Phil Ivey, and Negreanu probably.
Do you have a nemesis or somebody that you can't beat, or somebody that's always held over you?
I guess he holds over everybody now, but I guess Michael Adamo probably.
Yeah, he seems to be doing that a lot lately, right? Especially online.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I just can't beat him.
Are there any movie quotes that you use on a regular basis in everyday conversation?
I don't know why, but from The Dark Knight, there's like this scene where they're in an airplane and what's his name? I can't remember his name, but like he just like he says like the fire rises. It's like my favorite thing to say. I don't know why.
That's right.
Bane, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Right. When he's telling that guy he has to die in the plane.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, "Have we started the fire?"
I don't know why, but I just love it.
Yeah. I'm a big Nolan fan. That movie did it for me. Do you have a bold prediction for poker's future?
For poker's future, I'm not sure. What do you mean?
I'm just saying, where do you see the poker world headed, and is there any? Do you see it changing at all for the better, for the worse?
I just assume. I think like live poker is when it comes back, it's gonna fucking really come back. Like every tournament that's like a big field live tournament that's been ran recently, it's just been massive, and like I think it's just gonna continue for quite a while.
What is the biggest pet peeve you have at the table?
People stacking their chips in like fucking random amounts, and I can never know how much they have. And
That's funny. I used to ask people, what does your chip stacking say about you as a player? I'm guessing you're an all 20s guy?
Yeah, I'm fine with like 5s, 10s, or 20s. Just it's something that's like countable. But yeah, like usually 20s. I try to keep like that.
Yeah, usually you have more than that to stack. Some of us have the problem of not getting to 20 in the first place. What's the most expensive thing you've ever broken?
Broken.
That's good. You never crashed a car, I guess.
If that counts, then yeah. When I first got my license 2 weeks in, I ended up going to like not stopping at a stoplight. A guy rear-ends me coming from the side, and I ended up going into somebody's backyard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Welcome to driving, huh?
I know. I mean, I was just like a reckless 16-year-old. Like it was like purely my fault.
What is a talent you don't have that you wish you did?
Talent. I wish I could sing.
Yeah,
like I love music, and I grew up just like playing a bunch of instruments, but like my voice is just not very good.
All right, we end the podcast the same way every time with a question from the random question generator.
All right.
There we go. Click and click. That's funny. What was the last song you sang along to?
I
guess you just said you don't sing.
No, I mean I sing along. That doesn't mean I don't sing.
I guess let's say you go to karaoke. What song are you picking?
I like "Stand" by Eminem.
Oh, he's gonna rap a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I actually rapped a bunch growing up. So I think the last song I sang to was "Forever" by Drake, Kanye, Wayne, and Eminem.
All right, there you go. Maybe, do you have any recordings? Maybe we could play it as the outro to this podcast.
We're not doing that.
All right. Ollie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing the stories.
Thanks, man. This is great.
That's it. That is the show. Thank you once again to Ollie, not only for the conversation, but also for the incredible timing of his most recent wins. You can follow him on Twitter at Ollie Imsirovic or on Instagram at AllInOlliePoker. And while you're there, check out the link for Amy's Pet Rescue, which is a non-profit started by Ollie and his sister Amanda to save the stray dogs in Bosnia. Learn more about that cause at amyspetrescue.org, and that's Amy with an I. You can also find us on Twitter at CardPlayerMedia and also at poker_stories. If you like the podcast, then go ahead and please subscribe. And if you really like the podcast, then go ahead and do us the favor of giving us 5 stars and a nice review. Once you've done that, let us know about it with an email to pokerstories@cardplayer.com, and we'll hook you up with a free digital subscription to Card Player Magazine. Thanks for listening.